Hello and welcome back to The Give and Go. I'm your coach Reynoso here with my boy
Soltero. What's up, y'all?
It's the weekend recap, your go-to show to recap all the important things that happened in club football this weekend. And folks, we got a scoreboard update as this is the second week that we go head-to-head. Reynoso, me, myself, and I currently on 20 points from 9 points to 20. Soltero sitting on 30. 10-point gap at the moment. But we both ended up predicting the correct scoreline for only one game, but ended up being the exact same game. And it's the game that we're starting off with today. We predicted 2-0 Manchester City against Everton, and that's exactly what we got.
Yeah, I think the game was pretty predictable if you were watching City and Everton going into this Premier League match week. Everton without Jack Grealish, we said it was going to be tough for them to really attack, and that's exactly what happened. Everton didn't really pose much threat in this match, though they did fight very hard, and I think that's why you're encouraged to watch Everton this season because they look so much more composed, so much more determined to fight than they have, and honestly, the last decade, let's be completely honest.
It's been a minute.
So it's been great to watch Everton, and they put up a hell of a fight here. But when you have Erling Haaland on your side in his current form, almost impossible to stop this man.
Golden boot leader, and I don't think he's going to give that title up for the rest of the season. 11 goals in the Prem so far in 8 games.
Nuts.
Ridiculous. 17 goals for the season if you include the Club World Cup. 2 goals here. His form, his momentum right now is ridiculous. That header was the most impressive goal between the 2 that he got today. Just an absolute powerhouse in that center of the box. But for Everton, you got to highlight Ndiaye, man. Njai, however you say it, bro. This guy is Premier League made. My God, what a performance, dude. His skill on the ball, his ability to create something out of nothing. I think it's a massive, massive talent that Senegal has on that right wing and that Everton has as well. And it's exciting because on the right you can have him and on the left you have Jack Grealish. There's a lot of positives at the end of the day to take here from Everton, just ultimately not able to match up against what is a good Manchester City team that is now in second place, only 3 points behind league leaders Arsenal.
It's good for Manchester City. I still get frustrated, though. There's so many opportunities in this match, not for Erling Haaland, but for City's wingers. Doku and Savinho specifically, each, I would say, had one clear opportunity go their way, and both of them just either completely screwed the shot or they made the wrong decision. They're just not clinical, City's wingers. And for me, that was the... I would say a point of concern going into the season. Doku's been a little bit better this year, but I'd say all in all, when I look at Doku, when I look at Savinho, I just don't see goal scorers.
Well, you got to ask the question, if Haaland isn't on fire, who gets the goals for Manchester City, bro?
That's what I'm getting at.
Because he also had some opportunities. He could have gotten 4 goals, if we're being honest today. He could have had a ton of goals, but I excuse it because he already had 2 goals to his name. But, dude, if Manchester City doesn't have Erling Haaland on fire, then who really does step up for them consistently? I'm not seeing that type of output, that type of option yet because City also at their peak had great midfielders that could get involved as well. They're not getting any goals at the moment. It really just is feed Erling Haaland and the occasional Foden, Doku, or Savinho goal.
And that's the thing. In 6 matches, Foden only has 1 goal.
Damn.
So the goals literally are coming from nowhere else other than Erling Haaland. So, yes, I think City have done well in, I would say, the last, 3-4 Premier League matches. But I'm really curious to see City's long-term plan this season. Haaland's going to continue to score goals. It's a given. The man's a machine. But in the tight matches, when they play against Arsenal, when they play against Liverpool, Tottenham, all of these teams, Bournemouth, right, Crystal Palace, where are those goals going to come from? Haaland's going to get locked down eventually. And when that happens, I just don't have the confidence in Savinho, Doku, Foden. I don't have the confidence in any of these guys. Even Reinders, who is an offensive midfielder, not a goal scorer, though.
Last season, I think there's a perfect example of Liverpool and how Mo Salah carried the team offensively. 30-plus goals, 20-plus assists, but you still got a lot of good output from Luis Diaz, who scored like 17, Gakpo, who got double digits as well, Darwin getting involved, McAllister was in his best form last year, Gravenberg used to have a lot of good offensive options. I'm not seeing that yet from Manchester City. I can't say I'm as concerned as you. I'm banking that potentially they find their form, and I'm also banking on Erling Haaland just being Super Saiyan, bro. Like, he might be able to do this himself if he continues.
I see what you're saying, but also in this match, if Everton just had themselves better finishers, exactly.
I know, man.
I think this game actually would have been a lot tighter, and I don't know if I would have had the confidence for City to actually win this game.
Yep.
Beto missed a really big opportunity. Yes, he was stretching. Yes, it's difficult, but you would like to see your number 9 finish the chance that he was given. Here's the thing, though. Beto and his backup, Barry, though they are out-and-out strikers, they are not good goal scorers. So Everton themselves are a bit cursed when it comes to goal scorers as well, but that's why you have Grealish and Ndiaye. It's almost the exact opposite. They have goal-scoring wingers, but not really goal-scoring strikers.
No, not at all.
So yes, City were the better team on the day, but I think against a better offense, and we'll see it in the Champions League, I think City are going to struggle.
We'll see, man, because they would have to match up against league leaders Arsenal to take reign of first place. I just want to acknowledge the Arsenal result, man, as they went to Fulham, Craven Cottage, and were able to get a 1-0 victory through another set-piece goal. Leandro Trossard getting his thigh on the ball, pushing it back into the net. It's scenes for Arsenal as they keep hold of first place at the moment, especially with the result we're about to talk about with Liverpool. But Arsenal, they're winning the league this year, man.
Dude, what's crazy, you look at the rest of the league. I mean this is going to get really tight.
There was a time to do it, though. If there was a time to do it.
Yeah.
We haven't highlighted one of their games in a couple of weeks. We've been focusing in on other matches, but in the meantime, so far, they've gotten the results that's been needed, and they're just winning games, bro. Like, they're doing it so far. So far, so good, despite the hot start that Liverpool had. But with their recent run of results, Arsenal is taking advantage, and they did it against Fulham in a game that was tight. It was 0-0 for a good while, but they're able to get that game-winning goal. So credit to them. Arsenal's looking good so far.
Yeah, that's such a good point. Is this actually the year Arsenal finally win the league? You're right. If there was a year to do it, it is now. I'd say they're probably one of the deepest teams in the Premier League. They're one of the most balanced sides in the Premier League. They have threat from pretty much every single point on the pitch. There's good fullback play. Obviously, when you look at the midfield, you have Declan Rice. If you have a healthy Martin Odegaard, those are some of the best midfielders in the entirety of the Prem. Then you add in the attacking power of Saka, Eberechi Eze. You now have a striker, Victor Gyökeres. Maybe he's not scoring as much as you'd like, but he's at least occupying that space. You have Martinelli, who's seeming to find his form again. You still have Trossard. So it's just looking really good on paper right now for Arsenal. But I think right now, the competitiveness of it is really hurting these top teams.
Yeah.
I could see this continuing to get tight. I won't be surprised if Arsenal start dropping points against just really tough opponents in the Prem, man. Like, this is going to be really interesting to see who can find a run of form going into the end of December.
No, great point. Great point. The tightness of this is absolutely crazy, but that's also why I got to credit Arsenal, because this is the most optimistic I felt about them after this weekend, bro. You're right. Gyökeres isn't scoring like crazy right now, yet they're still in first place. Saka's been injured, just returned, yet they're in first place. Odegaard's been out. Yet they're in first place. Eze is still not fully settled into the team, I think. He's still trying to find his best role. Martinelli keeps getting switched out with Leandro Trossard. They're still in first place, bro. That's what's getting me about this team is despite these injuries that I think in the past would have held them back, they're actually getting the results now. Beyond the Liverpool result where they lost that game off a crazy free kick, I think it's been a perfect season for them so far. So For that, I got to give them credit, because in the past, they would not have gotten these results, I think, given the injury circumstances.
Dang, yeah, that's a great point. I think for Arsenal, just due to their past, I'm not going to be convinced until it's like March or April.
Absolutely, bro.
Because that's just when it gets really, really sticky for them, man. But yes, this is very, very promising for Arsenal. So let's see if they can hold up.
Especially after a result like what Liverpool experienced today to their biggest rivals, Manchester United, hosting Man United at Anfield in a just intense atmosphere in a place where Manchester United hadn't won in 10 years in the Premier League. It's Harry Maguire, of all people, breaking the deadlock, scoring the game winner, and giving Man United a much-needed result, not just for themselves, but for the club, for the people, for the fans, over their biggest rivals in away territory. 2-1 Amorim's a genius.
Salah, you gotta finish your chances, man. You gotta finish your chances, bro. I just thought Liverpool today were ridiculously wasteful. The build-up play was all right. They had so much of the ball. They were constantly in United's box. But when it really mattered, Liverpool's offense did not show up. When it really mattered, when they needed a bout of clinicality, when they needed a moment of just pure precision, it completely left every single Liverpool attacker. Just wasn't here today, bro. Isak was completely non-existent in this match. Salah missed a huge chance in that second half. Gakpo hit the
also,
post
bro.
Twice.
Yeah,
and I thought the first time he hit the post, he had so much goal to aim at.
Yeah.
I was actually a little critical that he hit the post.
Yeah.
He should have finished that. And so, yes, it's a little unlucky. He missed a wide open header. And even the tap-in that he got, he low-key almost missed it.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
He almost missed it. So, like, the wastefulness that I saw Liverpool have today, I'm very, very concerned now. I'm very concerned. We went into this preview as Liverpool almost have to win this match to
absolutely.
regain their form. And the fact that they lost it in this manner where they had a lot of the ball, United just kind of sat back, absorbed a lot of pressure, and Liverpool wasted this amount of chances. Now I'm seeing that there's a disease going on in this Liverpool offense, and I don't know if Slot knows the cure.
Oh, it's Halloween time. The spirit of Darwin Nunez has possessed all these players, bro. Because that's what it felt like watching Gakpo today, man.
Yeah, man.
That header that he missed to tie the game. Come on, brother. I thought it was perfectly set up for him from the pass from Frimpong. And then the perfect pass that Salah had given Gakpo on that opportunity in the first half, man. Sadio Mane makes that. Roberto Firmino makes that, bro. Diaz makes that.
Yep.
And I expected Gakpo to make it. I understand it's a game of inches and sometimes it just isn't your day. But damn it, man, you got to finish that one because everything up until that point looked like it was leading up to a goal. And that's kind of my thing with this Liverpool team. I agree. The criticisms towards their finishing is honestly the biggest headline in this game because we generated a lot of opportunities. We had the pressure on them. We just weren't able to finish the chances, man. We really, really weren't. And Manchester United was good about kind of banking on that and working with, conceding a goal, 1-1. Momentum looks like it's going Liverpool's way, but, in those one-off opportunities, which they did have a lot of, because we mentioned it before, Liverpool can get exposed. They have these flaws where all of a sudden they look open on a counter. There were multiple chances where Manchester United could have made the game 2-0, maybe even 3-0 if they could have finished. It was their all game. And ultimately, it's Harry Maguire who's able to take advantage of it, bro. And credit to him because the opportunity was there. A lot of times you see a Southampton, you see a fucking Luton Town, you see a Wolves have that chance and they fucking sky it. They miss it completely. But for Manchester United, they needed it. They scored it. It comes through one of their most criticized and most interesting players in Harry Maguire. And I think it's actually very fitting, bro, because he's had a crazy resurgence as he started off as a meme for this team and for this club and has slowly become much more of a respected player and captain for this team. So for as much as I want to criticize Liverpool, I actually want to give credit to Manchester United because they took advantage of every single thing that Liverpool couldn't do today, and they got 3 points because of it. Credit to them, bro, because not all Prem teams will do that. At Anfield especially.
No, definitely. United actually played pretty much a perfect game from their perspective. Considering the players that they have and the way that they've been playing, United put in another incredibly tenacious performance where every single player seems to be fully committed to Amorim's game plan. Every single player is sprinting, they're closing down space. When they get the ball, it's not necessarily pretty, but it's aggressive.
Yeah.
It's very aggressive. And now they have players like Cunha and Mbeumo who can create space for themselves, and if you give them an opportunity, they're good finishers, man. I mean, that first shot from Mbeumo, brilliant finish. And Cunha's play just in general, being able to create space, hold the ball in tight situations. United haven't had players like that in a very long time. So now, with players like Mbeumo and Cunha, all of a sudden United can play this counter-attacking style of football, and today it worked perfectly.
So much so that 8 games played for both Liverpool and Manchester United, Man United's only 2 points off Liverpool now.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy, bro?
Yeah.
In 1 month, things can just switch like that in football. From talks about Amorim getting fired after losing to Grimsby Town, all of a sudden they're 2 points behind the defending champions in the Prem, and Liverpool now have lost 4 games in a row. Is there more to take away here for Liverpool and what's going on with them? Or for Manchester United trying to start something off positive, trying to flip the narrative of themselves, as this is probably one of the most promising wins I've seen them have in a long time, dude.
Now, I think this solidifies 2 things. One, for Manchester United, it's the idea that Amorim's game plan is now consistent. I'm serious. The aggression that I'm seeing from Manchester United, I have not seen this team pull off these consecutive back-to-back performances in over a decade. It's brilliant to watch. I actually think this is United's first back-to-back.
Who they beat last time? It was Sunderland. Okay.
Yeah, it's their first back-to-back win. I forget the stat, but it's remarkable.
No,
I
heard the dude that's not getting cutting his hair until I heard that people are like, shit, it might finally happen.
It might happen.
So yeah, you're right. 3 games off.
The second thing that it really points out to me is that, yeah, I think Liverpool are in some serious problems right now. Like truly, the offense is actually not clicking. Like we were talking about it, maybe maybe it's just it's a phase. I don't think this is a phase anymore. There's genuine issue with the way that Liverpool attack. I think the biggest thing is that just the players aren't in form. I mean, Salah is completely different right now. Gakpo's their best player, and today he just couldn't finish. Verts still just can't figure it out, really. Like, just realistically, he doesn't seem to know how to impact the game with his style of play and Slot's style of tactics. It just doesn't seem to be meshing. Szoboszlai looks to be very good, but he doesn't really have anybody to combine with. The build-up play, I would say, is pretty sloppy. And then when I look at a guy like McAllister, he's
falling off.
It's not working.
Yeah, he hasn't been
Everything he tries is just absolutely not working. And another criticism I want to throw Liverpool's way, I think Slot is stubborn with Chiesa. He's too stubborn, man. Chiesa at best gets 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
When you look at how poor Liverpool's offense has been, why are you waiting till the 75th minute to put on the only player who gives you something?
I know, man.
Makes no sense. And the fact that he's excluded him from Champions League squads too, I see it as stubbornness, to be completely honest, because how can you not play a player who constantly impacts the game every time he touches the pitch? It makes no sense to me. I don't know what it is. I really don't know it, because whatever I say, it's just pure speculation. All I can say is it doesn't make sense.
In hindsight, you look at the results, man. Now that we know what we know, Liverpool had lost 4 games in a row, and all the games they've won in all competitions have just been due to luck. Like, it honestly has been like last-minute game winners that salvaged them from having to settle for a tie. When you look at this in hindsight, dude, like that's what I'm learning, that for as glorious and fun it was, the whole 5-game streak where we got victories and we're like, wow, we're getting last-minute game winners. Yeah. I think it was a true sign that we are struggling to separate ourselves from our opponent throughout a full 90 minutes and are having to rely on individual talent to get us 3 points. I also look at all the convoluted talent that you just highlighted, bro. It reminds me a lot of what happened last year with Real Madrid, bro, and the inconsistencies they had on offense as well.
Yeah.
And the fact that they acquired such good talent, such superstar talent, like an Alexander Isak, like an Ekitike, and you're trying to find the best way to make it work all together. Ultimately, I kind of agree with what your point, I think what you were trying to say. I think this is all on Slot. Yeah. I think it is. Or if anything, I think this is a time where we find out what Slot is truly made of. Last year, I think he was playing with house money. And the fact that he wouldn't have been criticized so much if Liverpool didn't win the title, because no one expected Liverpool to win the title going into last season. Salah puts in one of the best performances of his life, Ballon d'Or type performance, and Liverpool wins, bro. They went and they were deserving the champions. And I think Slot did a great job managing that team. But you have all these additions. You also lose a crucial, iconic right back piece in Trent Alexander-Arnold. And I think that's a bit of offense that you're missing that comes from that back line that is also part of this narrative. So all in all, I think this is a lot of this is on Slot, his inability to figure out how to maximize the talents of these players. Yes, their form isn't the best either, but I think their quality is too high to say that that's the reason why it's not working. I think Slot has never been put in a position where he's had this much ego, this much talent, this much quality at his disposal. And now he needs to figure out what's the lineup that I'm going to go with every single time that we have a big, important game. The 3 guys I'm going to rely on. Who's my super sub? He needs to assign roles to these players, bro, because some games Vert starts, some games he's on the bench. Right. Salah is definitely the go-to guy, but if he's playing like this, maybe bench him, bro. Like, let's be honest. Start Chiesa. Try him out. Yeah. I think he has to be much more adaptable, and I would hope that a result like this is the type of result that wakes him up. I want the people to keep an eye on who he selects, who is his starting 11 going into the future games, because that will definitely signify if he's actually adapting and changing to the times, or if he's going to remain stubborn, which might end up hurting Liverpool in the long run.
Yeah, and if you're any other Premier League team, Liverpool's hurting, and kick them while they're down.
Bruh.
Because I'd say the common denominator that has been in every single game that they've lost is you just press Liverpool and they will break. Van Dijk, Konate, and Gravenberg, for some reason this season, just cannot hold it. They cannot hold an aggressive opponent. Liverpool are conceding in every single game.
Hey, man, chill. You're hurting me. This is my team. Remember, this is my squad, all right?
And with Liverpool's asynchronous offense, they're going to lose every time if you press them. No. So if I'm any opponent, I'm just looking at how United played today. I'm looking at how Palace played. I'm looking at even how Galatasaray played.
Yeah.
Just put pressure on these players. You will beat Liverpool now.
What a result, dude. What a result for Manchester United. I'm sure they're celebrating over in Manchester 2-1. Any Manchester United fans, congratulations on the massive, massive victory. Elsewhere in the Prem, just some crazy results to highlight as we cover this league. Crystal Palace tied Bournemouth 3-3 in an absolute shootout, which actually pushes Bournemouth into the top 3. They're now in 3rd place, 4 points behind Arsenal, doing a great job there. Chelsea defeats Nottingham Forest 3-0. I think causing the firing of Ange Postecoglou after, I believe, 8 games, absolutely winless, terrible time with Nottingham Forest. Chelsea getting a good result here as they remain in 5th place. And then finally, Aston Villa defeats Tottenham 2-1 away from home. Did you see these goals, bro?
I actually didn't.
My goal of the weekend selection is honestly both goals, with Morgan Rogers scoring a beauty of a goal. I recommend people see it from outside the box. It's a beautiful shot. But the second goal, Aston Villa fans are already calling it the goal of the season for their club. Damn. It's ridiculous, bro. Hockey assist of the year from the one and only Matty Cash, who, if you've been watching international football, you know he's actually on fucking fire right now, bro. It's crazy. Has an insane hockey pass. Middle of the field, sends it up to Lucas Digne, who then brings it down in the most mesmerizing way, feeds it off to, I think it's McGinn, who finishes it off from outside the box. It's a ridiculous play that should not work, but it did in that moment for Aston Villa and gave them the victory over Tottenham. That's my goal of the weekend selection right there. I'm letting y'all know right away, and I think those are the most notable results that we saw in this league. Let's move on over to Serie A, where we had 2 games to highlight in our weekend preview that I think were actually very important in terms of their outcomes. Starting off with Roma hosting Inter Milan, a game where I predicted Roma would win 2-1, and you predicted Inter Milan would win 2-1. Fun, because honestly, it could have gone either way, bro, going into this match. We mentioned the stakes at hand with Roma starting off really, really good so far with the best defense in Serie A, the best defense in Italy, only conceding 2 goals. But Inter Milan being that team who year in, year out finds a way to defeat opponents of this stature. Will it prove itself once again, bro? In hostile environment, it's Boni who steps up again, bro, for Inter Milan and gets a goal to give Inter Milan the 1-0 victory over Roma.
Yeah, in the preview, I kind of highlighted how good Boni has been. Maybe he's not scoring a ton of goals, but he's just given Inter Milan a great rotational piece. When Thuram's out, you put Boni in. He's going to occupy that space. He's going to get big. He is going to bully the opponent's center backs. And he does it so well. He's just a big body, but he's also got some good skill, man. He's a good finisher if you give him that chance. Boni gets the goal for Inter Milan in this match. And it's not that Roma played bad, because they really didn't. It's just, at the end of the day, I just think Roma don't have the star power players to actually beat what is ultimately a very good defense in Inter Milan. Roma had a lot of the ball. They created some good chances. I think there was one chance, I believe it was in the second half, Celik had a really good opportunity, but it was ultimately good last-ditch defending from Inter Milan, and that's all Roma were reduced to, was just half chances at the end of the day. And that's credit to Inter Milan's ridiculously good defense. Roma, at the end of the day, for me, just don't have a difference maker.
That's a good point.
They really don't. And I think that really showcased in this match. Roma's a good team. I'm actually impressed how they played on the day. But for them to be title contenders, I don't think I can put Roma in the same bucket as Inter, Napoli, or Milan. I don't think I can.
I agree. That's the takeaway, bro. Matias Soulé, he's a talent. He's good. He's not a top 3 player in the league. Dzeko, we saw today, show a little bit of that rust.
Yeah.
Show a little bit of that rust. He had a couple opportunities where he just didn't look fully sharp. They could have been turned into goals if it was prime Dzeko wasn't there. And then Dybala, I think, is a great second-tier star in Italy.
There you go.
Know? But he's not the main go-to guy. You know, he's not prime Dybala anymore. And he had a couple chances, but Sommer saved them. That's the takeaway, bro, because I think ultimately it was a lapse on Roma's defense that allowed Boni to be in such open space for that goal. And I got scared because he was taking a while to shoot that ball, bro. He was taking a minute.
He did.
Good Lord.
I thought he thought it was going to be offside, so he wasn't going to take it seriously. And I was like, please finish this just in case. And he did. But
he found a way. He put in that awkward spot for the goalkeeper, but it's good enough. Boni looking really good. If Inter Milan has a depth piece at the offensive position, that's huge, because in the past, I think their reliance on Lautaro and Marcus Thuram was a little too heavy. When one of them would get injured, which tended to happen, the offense would suffer. With Boni, I think you have a player waiting in the ranks to just come out and ball out. That's huge for them. And so with this victory, Inter Milan moves into second place with 15 points. Roma still in the top 4, still in the title race. Yeah. But I think if they want to push for it, they're going to have to need some sort of superstardom to come out of these players, which I agree. I don't know if that exists. I don't know if that exists. And I don't know if the defense is as good to help make up for that for the rest of the year. Elsewhere, we had AC Milan maintain first place in Serie A in the race for the Scudetto as they defeat Fiorentina 2-1 without their go-to guy, Christian Pulisic. But it's other players that stepped up for them in this game, man, with Santi Jimenez getting an appearance in this match and drawing a, what I would call, controversial penalty, ultimately giving Rafael Leao the brace in this game, a much needed brace, as he scored, I believe, his first goal at home for AC Milan. And what I believe the commentary said was 18 months, bro. Yeah. It's been a minute for Rafael Leao, but he stepped up at the perfect time, the right time. AC Milan wins this game 2-1 against a Fiorentina team that did challenge them at the end of the day.
Yeah, fun stat here. Leao has made 201 appearances for AC Milan.
Damn.
He's never taken a penalty until today. This is the first time he's ever taken a penalty. And he scored it, so he's one-on-one.
Played with? I mean, he's played with Morata up there, probably.
I know, that's why I asked the same question. I was like, who's taking the pens, man? It's not Leao, apparently.
I don't know about that, bro.
Yeah, weird. But the way he finished it, I was like, damn, he's got to start taking it, man. It was a clean finish, low and hard, right in the corner, beautiful penalty. Not a lot between these two on the day, though. This was a tough match for Milan. And it's not that Fiorentina really took it to them, because they didn't. Fiorentina do not have an offense. And it's kind of sad to see, because a couple years ago, Fiorentina were going to, Conference League final, for example. They had an actual team, and now they're fighting relegation this year. So this is really sad times for Fiorentina, and it shows. They've got fight. The goal that they scored today was ugly. It was a really ugly goal. Mike Maignan, I think, sees it late. He hits it against his own defender, and Gosens is there to kind of put it home. But even then, the defense of Milan kind of just switched off for a half second. It was a very ugly goal from a Milan perspective. You don't want to concede those. They responded well. Leao gets a really good curler. De Gea sees it late, can't get to it in time, goes past him, starts the comeback for Milan. They do complete it, but it took a really soft penalty for Milan to actually take all 3 points in this match. Ultimately, Milan, I would say, find themselves lucky to be on the winning end here. but I think they deserve it. I mean, they didn't play poorly, but this is not the same performance that I saw Milan give against Napoli, for example. I'm kind of surprised if it's the absence of Pulisic. I don't know, man. This is a weird game for Milan, one that I just kind of want to forget.
Fiorentina fans are crying corruption. You don't think there's anything there? You usually don't see that called as a pen, dude.
Well, here's the thing. I think this year I've seen it more than ever.
Okay.
I'm seeing, basically, if there's an image of a player grabbing at any point, more often than not, refs are calling it nowadays. So for me, just you can't put your hands on players anymore.
Okay, well then in that case, all credit to my boy Santi Jimenez. Great job getting in that position,
there you go.
Posing a threat, intimidating the defenders, getting slapped, taking the slap, falling to his knees, falling to the ground, drawing the pen. I thought he was good in his appearance. He had a nice shot that was saved beautifully by De Gea. Draws the pen now to give them the victory. I don't know if he should have been on the bench for this game, man.
Also a weird call.
Yeah, starting Salamaker's up there with Rafael Leao. Man, what does that say to Santi, man? I think this was the perfect opportunity to give him, with Pulisic out, alongside Rafael Leao, give him the shot, bro. And I think he proved himself in those 20 minutes that he is worthy of starting a game for AC Milan when Pulisic is out, especially. And so, yeah, I thought their offense looked a little bit better when he was on the pitch. But all in all, yeah, a little tighter than what I wanted it to be, with Fiorentina getting that lucky goal.
Yeah, I think the positive takeaway can be that this game ultimately could have just not been 3 points for Milan.
Oh, yeah.
But somehow, some way, they get it. They get all 3 points.
That.
And you need that if you're going for the Scudetto.
Absolutely.
You need these lucky results. Every team who wins gets a few lucky calls their way. Milan get it. So I'd say good news if you're going for the title.
Absolutely. That's why I've been so critical of Juventus and their recent results, and why I feel the need that I have to highlight. Finally, their first loss in the league, coming to a really fun Como team, man.
Yeah.
Winning 2-0 at home. Nico Paz is the real deal. Yet another Argentine, young Argentine, balling out in Italy specifically with a banger of a goal, and I believe he had an assist in that game too. Juventus look lifeless in this game. They lose 2-0. They drop points. They're now in 7th place. Como overtakes them, and Como wins this game to get all 3 points. And in a similar vibe, Torino defeats Napoli 1-0 to bring down the defending champs into 3rd place. That's why I like the fact that AC Milan won this game despite their injuries.
Yes.
You got Napoli and Juventus dropping points. You got to win, bro. You got to win.
Yes.
And last year's AC Milan would not have done that. This year, they do.
Exactly. That is exactly the point that I think people should take away from this weekend in Serie A. And another interesting thing, we mentioned Como, but Bologna having seemingly another good year, man. They won. They beat Cagliari this weekend, and they're now in 5th place.
They're in 5th?
They're in 5th place.
Damn,
and
dude.
Only 3 points behind Milan. So Bologna, they've been playing good football these last 2 seasons. It's not a fluke. They're here for another good season this year.
If only Leverkusen could learn from that. Learn from being picked apart and still playing good football, because in Germany, we got an important result with the Der Klassiker, Bayern Munich hosting Borussia Dortmund, in a game that we kind of both said that Bayern had in the bag with the form that they've been in, with Harry Kane and his amazing play, Luis Diaz, Michael Olise, the form that they're both in. Comparing that to Dortmund, a tough task for Dortmund to get a result here. Ultimately proving itself right, in my opinion, with Bayern Munich winning 2-1. Munich, I think, looking in control for the most part in this game, getting 3 points in Germany's biggest rivalry.
Yeah, Bayern win this game 2-1. I'd say the first half was complete domination from Bayern Munich. Kind of surprised they didn't score more, to be completely honest. What I think actually kept this game tight in the first half was Luis Diaz not having a good game. He had several opportunities where he found himself completely wide open on the flank, which is what he loves to be in. But he would make the wrong decision. He would lose the ball, wouldn't make the right pass. When he had chances to shoot directly at goal, the shot just wouldn't come. Diaz had a very, very poor game. And I think that's why Bayern Munich ultimately didn't get more goals in that first half. But I think Dortmund, I think they could have gotten something in this second half.
You got to be frustrated, I think, with the way you lost this game if you're Dortmund.
Yeah.
The first goal was a Harry Kane corner kick goal.
Mm-hmm.
you can concede by Harry Kane, but from a corner kick, that's not his MO. And the fact that he got so open, so close to the box was too easy. You just shore up that defense there, you can avoid a whole goal, man.
Yeah.
And then following that, the second goal as well, man.
I'm actually putting this loss for Dortmund completely on Kovac. I think he got the formation wrong, and he noted that by immediately changing the formation in the start of the second half. When he put Bensebaini on for Schule, it was night and day how much different Dortmund were. They needed another guy in that midfield to handle Bayern Munich. It was the right move. The problem is Dortmund wasted an entire half. They wasted an entire half. And then you bring on players like Julian Brandt. He immediately makes an impact, but you bring him on in the 80th minute. So for me, it's just too little too late for Kovac and his decisions. I think if he had really come out with a more risky, a more aggressive approach, considering Bayern's wingers were not in their best form on the day, I actually think Dortmund could have had a much better outcome. But instead, they took a conservative approach. They wasted time, and that's only going to help Bayern Munich. So for me, this loss is actually more so on Kovac than it is on Bayern Munich having a good performance.
That's a good point. And I ultimately do agree with you, but you don't think they looked better in those last 20 minutes because Bayern was already up and they kind of let their foot off the gas a little bit?
No, because Dortmund looked great at the start of the second half. There was an immediate change when Kovac changed formation, and he should have brought on Brandt, I think, even earlier in that second half to just really go for it. But Kovac just took his time with his decisions. I truly think if he was just more risky way earlier, I think Dortmund could have taken advantage.
It's decisions like that, man, that create a 7-point gap in the title race with Bayern Munich now in first place with 21 points. Dortmund was in second place. With this loss now, they're in 14 points, fourth place as Leipzig and Stuttgart overtake them. Kovac is an interesting one, man, because I've never been fully convinced with his coaching at both the club and international level, but he gets A-list treatment. Like he was a Brad Pitt of German football or something, bro. But he's a B-lister, man. Maybe even a C-lister. He should be in indie movies. He should be coaching Mönchengladbach right now. But he gets this treatment like he's some genius. And I think games like today maybe show why that criticism remains true, man.
He mismanaged this badly, bro. I really wonder what Dortmund fans think. I think this was a disaster class from a coaching perspective for Kovac. That and Fabio Silva. Fabio Silva came on in the 84th minute, and he looked brilliant, but he only had 10 minutes to operate. I mean, it just makes no sense. I think very poor decision-making from Kovac today.
Big moment in the German league as Bayern Munich wins 2-1 against their rivals, Dortmund. Let's go over to the Americas. Let's go over to Liga MX, where we had a big matchup between two top 4 teams. Cruz Azul hosting America in El Estadio Olímpico Universitario, which is Pumas' stadium, but considered a home match for Cruz Azul. And we built this game up as a game about narratives, a game about history, mentality, because in the past we've seen America really take it to Cruz Azul and have that mental edge over them, not just in the regular season, but specifically in La Liguilla, where they've gotten huge results that then lead them to winning the title itself. So for that reason, I went on to predict that America, as did you, would go on and win this game 3-1. But instead, I think we saw what's probably been the most positive Cruz Azul result the past month, at least in the time that we've been watching them, because we've been watching them a lot, surprisingly. And they get a 2-1 victory, bro, a come-from-behind victory against an America squad that was missing some notable players, but still end up losing to a Cruz Azul side that played a good match, man.
They played a good match, and America were terrible. They did not have a good game, and to be completely honest, this was the most shocking result for me out of the entire weekend, because I just was not expecting America to play this poorly, and for Cruz Azul to honestly put in a really good performance. Both sides had defensive mistakes, though. Jorge Sanchez with a whiffed header, just no commitment. America go on to get the goal and actually score first in this match, where it looks like, okay, this is the America we're going to see. They're going to thrash Cruz Azul at home. This is what I was expecting. But then Kevin Alvarez decides to just gift Cruz Azul the equalizer. A terrible back pass that had no weight to it going back to the goalkeeper. Cruz Azul say, thank you very much. It's 1-1. And then the rest of the match, I thought Cruz Azul created more chances. I thought they controlled the game, whereas America looked like they were forcing their chances. They didn't look like they had any real ideas going forward. I thought this was a really bad match for America once it became 1-1. Cruz Azul ended up getting that second goal through, honestly, a beautiful Rivero goal where he does a twist, does a beautiful little pirouette to get that second goal for Cruz Azul. Completely deserved here. I'm just shocked that America played this badly, though.
They looked bad. Second Cruz Azul goal deserves to be highlighted because that was a potential goal of the weekend nominee for me. The buildup was ridiculous. Whole team got touches in the buildup to it. It was really nice. They broke America down. And I think it summed up this match specifically. With how on form and how on fire he is, do you think Sendejas changes this match?
Alone, no. I think America are good when they have several attackers. But even when, say, Maximum came off the bench, he really didn't do anything either. It just seemed very individualistic from America.
Yeah.
And I think when that happens, it never goes well for them.
But I guess what I'm getting at, is this enough to convince you, if they're to face off in a Liga matchup, that Cruz Azul can now defeat America? I don't know if I'm there yet, man.
That's tough.
I don't know if I'm there yet with the injuries, what was missing. Henry Martin.
And just knowing Liga history.
Yeah.
I think when Liga comes around, I think America plays so much better.
That's my thing. I think this is a huge win. I think it only helps Cruz Azul. It's good for them.
It's good.
But I think I'm still not fully convinced that in a Liga setting, they can take down this America side. But here's hoping that maybe this is the year that they prove that wrong if they get matched up against each other. And Cruz Azul does have a good team. I'm happy I finally got to see a victory because I watched them these past 3 weeks now. And they've been tying, they've been losing, but finally I think Paradela looked his best. The whole team, I think, played much better outside of those mistakes that were made in the back line. I think they looked better, and I think it's a good result for Cruz Azul to defeat America, putting them now in second place with 28 points, America in third with 27. Just to quickly highlight some results in Liga MX, I got to bring up my Chivas team, bro, because I've been casually sneaking them into these episodes as they've been getting good results ever since El Super Clásico, and I need to send a message. I need to send a message to the Mexican national team that there has been an ant resistance. There's an ant pile building up. La Hormiga Gonzalez needs to be called up to the national team, bro. He needs to be called up. When you got guys like Santi Jimenez struggling for time at AC Milan and struggling to show out with the Mexican national team, here you have the leading Mexican goal scorer in Liga MX, Hormiga Gonzalez, at 22 years old, getting and banging in goals for Chivas week in, week out, and they're good finishes. They're good goals. It's reminding the people of a young Chicharito when he was donning that Chivas jersey in the build-up to the 2010 FIFA World Cup and got minutes there and scored against teams like France, for example, and Argentina as well. It's giving off that same energy. And when you have questionable call-ups or guys that just haven't found the momentum like Berterame, Quiñones, Santi Jimenez, and an injured Raul Jimenez, call up the local guy, man. Call up the Chivas player to give him a few minutes with the national team this upcoming window. He's got 6 or 7 goals so far. He didn't even start that much when the season started. He's been slowly building up into this team. I'm loving what I'm seeing with La Hormiga Gonzalez, bro, as he scored a goal for Chivas against Mazatlán. Scored another beautiful goal that was called offside as well. But, man, the talent is there. The talent is there. And I'm just I got to advocate for my boy now because it's become a routine now to see him get on the scoreboard with some good quality goals with this Chivas team. The chance is there.
And I want to highlight my own team here as well. I want to specifically look at the league leaders, Toluca, right now. Because I think what I learned out of this weekend in Liga MX is I think Toluca might be in their own bracket right now.
Back to back, baby.
Back to back.
Yeah.
39 goals in 13 matches. They're 39, bro. Wow. They're averaging 3 goals a game. That's elite. Whoa. That's elite offense. It's ridiculous. Paulinho, 10 goals in 11 appearances. And their new midfielder, we highlighted him months ago, Nico Castro from Spain, the Argentine. 3 goals, 6 assists already this season in 13 appearances. Toluca have gotten better because they still have, and Alexis Vega, who knows the league very well. He knows how to operate and run down that wing. Of course, you still have players like Marcel Ruiz, who's also dominant in Liga MX on this side. I think Toluca are shaping up to defend their title extremely well.
The campaign has been one of the best, man, that we've seen from a defending champion. The Bayern Munich Liga MX, if you include their Campeones Cup matchup against LA Galaxy, where they won 3-2, I think that's 8 straight victories in a row, with 3 goals against San Luis, 3 goals against Puebla, 3 goals against Chivas, 6 against Monterrey, 3 against Mazatlán, 3 against LA Galaxy, 4 against León, 4 against Toluca. 3 goals minimum last. That's rare for Liga MX, man.
It's rare, bro. It's nuts.
Noted.
The next best offense is 27 goals. They have 12 more goals than the next best offense. 12 more goals.
So what happens if they don't win it?
That's the thing, man. And their defense is on par with the best defenses out there as well. You're right. Like, if Toluca don't win it, it would be a bottle job. If you want to look at it that way.
They're definitely looking like favorites. Yeah. Definitely. Let's see, man. Liga, you never know. Let's see. Real quick, we got to just take a sneak peek into La Liga. Just open the curtain, see what happened over the weekend, because we did not preview any of these games because we predicted that the major teams would go on to beat the weaker squads that they were matched up against. And that proved to be true.
Technically.
But my God, man. For all 3 teams, 1 goal difference.
Tied at
Atleti defeats Osasuna. I saw the goal.
Almada. Yeah. Almada he's back healthy. This is good. This is what we need. It's that depth. It's those depth pieces. This is why we got these players, because when push comes to shove, when shit's tight, this is when our attacking players come into play. Thank you, Thiago.
Thank you. And beautiful run by Simeone, taking his guy on 101 and creating space. Atletico is now in 4th place with 16 points. Barca got into another tight one with Girona. Your boy, Witsel, scoring a bicycle kick goal, making it 1-1 after Pedri scored a really nice finish. And it's Araujo who gets the game winner for Barcelona to make it 2-1. This is a classic Barcelona result. If you've been watching them for the last 2 years, where they pull a result like this in the last minutes to win 3 full points. They're now in 2nd place, 2 points behind Madrid. But good Lord, they could not drop points here. Thankfully, they didn't, but man, it got so close. Araujo needed to save the team.
Yeah, in stoppage time, and Madrid's game against Getafe was virtually the same thing, where it was as tight as could be, and it took an 80th minute goal from Mbappe to break the deadlock. Madrid only win by 1 goal, 1-0.
Hey, but Goulet may be watching the podcast feeding Mbappe, as you requested.
We need more of it. We need more. This is the key. I really do think it's the key. He just needs to be touching that ball every half second, man.
And then outside club football, Morocco's U20 wins the wins the World Cup. The World Cup, the U20 World Cup, against the team that knocked out Mexico, Argentina, 2-0 in a convincing fashion, with Zabiri scoring a brace. He plays for Famalicão.
Yeah. In Portugal. Yeah, pretty dope.
Morocco's got talent, dude. This completely solidifies that if it's like a presidential campaign, they're running to be the team that makes it to a World Cup final that's from Africa. Yeah. They're running to be a team from Africa that ends up being the team that potentially even lifts the World Cup, bro. Because what they have going on at the youth level paired up with their senior team is some of the most positive things that I've seen come out of Africa and the international scene. Credit to them, bro. This is insane to do against a team like Argentina, especially.
Yeah, it's awesome to see, man. Congratulations to U20 Morocco. First African team since 2009, Ghana, to win the U20 World Cup. So, but you're right, though. This is good news, because you look at the senior team. We've marketed Morocco as the best team in Africa when it comes to the national game. So for the youth team to literally echo that immediately, right here, right now in the present, I mean, Morocco might have a dynasty going on, and we're going to be heavily looking at them in this winter's AFCON, because I think with all the narrative surrounding Morocco, they have to be the sole favorites to lift the title.
They would win a World Cup before they win an AFCON, man. That's this Morocco team, bro. Yeah. Let's do awards. Awards to finish off the episode. Goal of the weekend, I obviously selected Aston Villa's second goal, but which one are you going to go with for goal of the weekend? Best you saw between all these options that we have and that we've covered.
You already alluded to it, but the Rivero goal really was pretty.
Yeah.
It was just very pretty. The way he had to turn almost all in one motion, the way the ball just flew through the air, crashed into the side of that net. It was a beautiful goal from Rivero.
I love team goals, man. I really do. I love that selection. Great selection. Let's go on over to performance of the weekend. Who was the best player of the weekend? This one's interesting because I was thinking about it. There wasn't really a player that completely went off like how Bonnie did a couple weeks ago with Inter Milan, 3 goals and 1 assist. My selection is Erling Haaland. I'm going Erling Haaland with the brace that he got. Just kind of, for me more so, it's the fact that he just continues his pattern of goal scoring. The fact that you already have 9 straight games in a row scoring to continue that's super impressive. I think he's chasing Jamie Vardy's record that was set 10 years ago with Leicester. Give me Erling Haaland. Just the fact that he keeps doing it is crazy to me.
I want to give it to the defensive player this weekend.
There's a week
because I think this was just this is a weekend where there's a lot of tight results. I think defense really came into play in a lot of these matches. I almost want to give it to Harry Maguire. Shutting down Liverpool for the most part, and then also getting the goal too. I just think that's the type of performance you need. You need someone to lock in, just completely absorb a lot of pressure. Who better than defenders in this case? I'm gonna go Harry Maguire.
No, that's for the narrative for him. I think it's beautiful. Good pick. Lastly, match of the weekend. What was the best game you saw this weekend? For me, it's Liverpool, Manchester United, man. The drama, the scenes. Game. It's always crazy to see a team come into Anfield and get a result. I know Liverpool is my team, but I can be objective, and I can say that Manchester United made history today, getting that victory.
Yeah, it was a good game. I'm going to go Inter Milan Roma. That game was so tight at the end of the day. Inter Milan were the better team, but in Roma's house, there's just so much tension in the game. The last 20 minutes got so chippy. Roma gave everything. They couldn't break Inter Milan. It was just such a tight game. So much aggression amongst the players, giving everything that they could. I love it. Love it when teams just fight for everything on the pitch. So I'm going with Roma Inter.
Folks, give us your weekend awards as we recap all the biggest matches that happened in club football this weekend. Comment down below any results that stood out to you that we might not have mentioned on the show. And either way, subscribe to the channel, like, and comment down below. It's the Give and Go on the Vamos Network, and we'll be back very soon to recap UCL matches this week. Till next time, guys. Peace.